Alright, so we got the chop shop going mobile today. My buddy Art just dropped the subframe out of his E36, so we're heading to his house to weld a reinforcement kit in. For those of you who know that this is a pretty common issue with the E36 is that the mounting points for the rear subframe rot out, and you need to drop the whole subframe and weld in replacements before they're completely gone. These kits are sold specifically for the E36 chassis. It's laser cut to fit exactly, and you got to drop the subframe, clean the metal, and weld it in because the subframe sandwiches these new plates between the chassis and the subframe. So I've got one plate here. I'll give you an example of how that's going to go in there. So it's sandwiched between the subframe and the chassis. Plug weld those holes around the outside, nice and strong. Here's the plate for the rear mount. Same kind of deal, plug weld the holes, weld around the outside. So all that metal there is in great shape. It's going to be really easy to weld. I've also got some big boy reinforcement plates for the trailing arms. Going to go up here. They're quite a bit bigger. That's still got to be cleaned up, but yeah, it's looking good under here. It's gonna be nice and strong. He's also got a replacement rear subframe, had it sandblasted and powder coated, polyurethane bushings with the new mounts, new studs and everything. So it was pretty late yesterday when we wrapped up welding, like 2 in the morning when we got done. I didn't record too much just because it was so tight and awkward under there. I would have been kicking the camera. I was rolling around, moving around so much, but we got the plates in. They look pretty good. I'm happy with it. Art's happy with it. It's gonna be super solid, which is really what matters. You know, it ain't exactly stacked TIG dimes, but for what it is underneath the car, it's gonna be solid, super strong. When I get back under the car, I'll show you the plates we put in. I'll show you the welds. Today we're heading back to do the trailing arm plates. We ran out of time yesterday, so I'm heading back today. They're in a much less awkward place, so I'll be able to get some footage of those. All right, so I can roll under here and show you what I did yesterday. Okay, so what you're looking at right now are the rear subframe mounting points. Pretty decent welds in here. This crack gave me a bit of trouble just getting down in there. The edges were pretty easy. I did these plates first, not knowing that these would be the harder ones. So these are the rear ones. Here's the front subframe mounts. These obviously had a lot more space around them, were much easier to weld in. What we're back to do today is this mounting point over here. So that's going to be your driver's side trailing arm. And there's your passenger side trailing arm. So the plate will surround all this. It surrounds these washers. So I'll plug, I think there's a couple plug welds, weld around the washers and then hit all the edges. We're gonna have to get in here, remove some more of the seam sealer just so I don't, light anything on fire. But yeah, that'll be all the bracing in, and yeah, this chassis will be super solid. So you can kind of see now how much space I was working with. Not really much, so it was hard to record, but these mounts go right here, so I should be able to sit on my butt, not underneath the car, and weld most of that. Laying on my back to weld that shit was pretty crazy. I got a couple burns just from some rust pops and shit landing on me, but that's to be expected. What was the worst was trying to hold my head up. I'm laying on my back trying to hold my head up, and my brain must be fucking huge because goddamn my head is heavy. Luckily I don't have to deal with that today because right here is tight. First things first though, we're gonna eat some pizza and then we'll get welding. These are trailing arm mounts, yeah? Make sure I'm calling them the right thing this whole time.
They're definitely trailing arm mounts.
Okay, cool. All right, so the trailing arm mount reinforcement is in. Obviously, there's going to be some grinding to do to pretty it all up, but it's kind of just to be expected. And you're welding on old cars, you're kind of going to hit spots that don't want to weld that great.
If you ever watch those BMW drift videos and the guys go over that ramp,
yeah,
and then the fucking wheel just like cocks in,
yeah,
that's what that is.
Oh, well, hey, now you can drift this over a ramp and you'll be fine. Or Julie can drift this over a ramp.
Technically, yes. Most likely won't happen. But yeah, yes, you're right.
All right, this side's in as well. Same kind of deal. It's gonna need some cleanup, but it's welded all the way around. I did a little bit of grinding on it already, but it's definitely need a lot more. Yeah, so he'll grind that one down like you did these. Pour 15 it all. Subframe goes back in. How do you feel about this, Art? Would you do it again?
Fuck yeah, I would. This is like much needed maintenance for E36 and E46.
Will there be anything else to do after this, or are you damn near done it all?
The transmission's coming out. I hope nothing comes off after this.
Fingers crossed.
Ideally, yeah, ideally.
Well, hopefully we can get it back together and just start enjoying it.
Yeah.
Not that this isn't enjoyable, but you know.
World's longest extension?
Yeah, no kidding.
With a fucking gun on it. Probably the most idiotic idea. But we'll very lightly on it.
Got the glicky with the extendo, dog.
Yeah, look at that. Oof.
So we're wrapping this up at like almost 3 in the morning. Kind of disturbing the peace a little bit on the neighbors, but I got my welding portion done. Gonna leave Art here, crawling around underneath his car, pulling the transmission out. Wants to get that done this weekend, so I'm happy with that. It's all in, we're all good. That's a wrap.